range ability with the rifles, and the Frenchmen laughed. They thought it was a gimmick, a trick. So what? What are you going to do with it? Well, they showed them what they were going to do with it.
Marine riflemen opened fire, and the shots began downing enemy soldiers at 700 and 800 yards.
They captured some of the German troops in Belleau Wood, and the troops were complaining. They had letters in their jackets that they had written home. They were complaining, said these men are animals, said they are shock troops, and their rifle fire begins to kill at 700 yards. We get hit before we even hear the rifle go off.
Several days of bitter combat in Belleau Wood followed this initial long-range shooting match, but the Marine Corps doctrine of making every Marine a superior marksman had proven its legitimacy. In the coming decades, a special group of Marines would push battlefield marksmanship to the extreme and establish a doctrine of their own. One shot, one kill. The static trench-bound warfare that characterized much of World War I gave rise to a special breed of battlefield marksmen. Employed by both the Allied and German armies, these highly trained riflemen specialized in picking off enemy troops who carelessly exposed themselves. Adept at camouflage and concealment, these designated sharpshooters came to be called snipers. Originally a British term, the word sniper was derived from the British practice in India of hunting snipe.
Small, elusive bird that's hard to find, difficult to stalk, doesn't expose itself for very long, and it's small enough that it's a marksmanship challenge to shoot one. And the ones who are best at this were called snipers.
While the U.S. Marine Corps did not officially field snipers in the Great War, Marine officers did witness their effectiveness. The British, the Canadians, and even the U.S. Army experimented with sniper tactics and equipment at various points in the conflict. But at the cessation of hostilities, the knowledge of sniping tactics that had accumulated over the course of the war went home with the snipers themselves. No official manuals were written, no course of instruction established. The knowledge was simply lost. 20 years later, at the opening of World War II, the Marines were among the first to suffer the consequences of this lack of foresight. Seeing the potential value of snipers in upcoming battles, the Marine Corps elected to open 2 official scout sniper schools, one on each coast. Marine Captain Walter Walsh, a former FBI agent, was tapped to run the school at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
We were literally flying by the seat of our pants. There was no information or very little information available. As I recall, only thing that we had available at the time with some reference to sniping was a book by an individual named McBride.
Herbert W. McBride had written a book entitled A Rifleman Went to War. The book recounted his experiences as a sniper with the Canadian Army in World War I.
Well, McBride had some information in his book, but not in very great detail. But at least it was a starting point. And from there, we went on our own to develop a sniper school.
The Marine Corps selected sniper candidates from units soon destined for battles in the Pacific.
You took these people out into the boondocks, and you tried to teach them something about the use of a compass and map reading so that they could find their way out, and especially back. We'd like to have them back. But the main work with the snipers was on silhouette-type targets set in the woods in a training area at various distances, up to 600 yards at least.
Students learned the use of the M1903A1, a standard Springfield service rifle, with the addition of an 8-power Unertl brand scope. And they trained to work in pairs. One person, the sniper, would actually take the shot. His partner, the spotter, would help him find targets and direct fire using a separate telescope. But traditional sniper tactics proved to be of little help in the beach landing operations the Marines conducted in the Pacific.
The war in the Central Pacific was basically short-range stuff. You don't need a powerful telescopic sight. You don't have the opportunity to send snipers out to get in concealed positions, waiting for the enemy or seeking out the enemy. The fighting was too quick, too short range. They were not dug in. You don't have the chance to get into a good position and stay there. The kind of fighting you dash, duck, dodge, rose up, shot, got out of sight. That is not conducive to sniping as we think of it.
However, in battles in which the fighting was more protracted, such as in the campaign for Okinawa, scout snipers did have an opportunity to exercise their skills. While much of Okinawa is covered in jungle, the southern end of the island is relatively open, with gently undulating hills. The Japanese employed snipers of their own in this territory.
In one particular instance, a sniper was in a cave controlling an entire valley and had a squad of Marines pinned down for several hours. The squad couldn't move. They couldn't see where the sniper was firing from.
A young Marine scout sniper, Private First Class Daniel Cass, was called to the scene.
With his spotter, they were able to move forward enough to where they found the squad of Marines, got into a position where they could also see the cave. And when the Japanese sniper fired through the spotting scope, they could actually see the muzzle flash. And with that, he was directed on where to fire. And your spotter would say shift left or raise 2 feet or drop 1 foot when he saw the bullet strikes on the rock. Finally, on about the 5th shot, he killed the Japanese sniper and the squad was saved.
Marine Corps snipers in Korea 5 years later engaged their enemy counterparts in similar hilltop-to-hilltop shooting matches. By 1952, the fighting in Korea had settled into a fairly static trench-style warfare, the ideal environment for well-trained long-range marksmen. One relatively quiet day, Staff Sergeant John Boitnott, a Marine platoon sergeant and an excellent shot, was at the front with his sniper rifle.
He was on the line and he was shooting at the enemy, but they were keeping down and he couldn't get good shots.
Boitnott and his Marines were taking cover in a trench system, one trench leading to a supply area in the rear.
So Private Henry Friday, a member of Boitnott's company, said, "It's time I went back for breakfast, Sergeant." And Boitnott said, "Go ahead." When Friday ran down the trench, a sniper reared up and tried to shoot him. So Boitnott said, "Hold it, Friday." He got himself all ready, and he said, "Come to me." So Friday ran toward him, up raised the sniper, and Boitnott killed him. Boitnott and Friday teamed up there until the general stopped them, said it was too dangerous.